motherfucker! You didn't howl at the moon!
Paul, say something stupid.
Bologna, fudge, and mustard! My life is being ruined by the internet!
I'm here to stay. Make a good lucha thing.
Where's my fucking champ?
This will be the moment, starting now, of the genesis of McGillicuddy.
We're going to the top of the totem pole.
This is the Wrestling Botchcast with your hosts, Scotty the Brain and Sean Bradshaw Layfield.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Botchcast. I am Scotty the Brain. I'm joined with the still bot champion, SBL.
Yeah,
Oh, man. There's a lot going on this week. We are finally on the road to Money in the Bank, the second best pay-per-view of the year, in my humble opinion.
Wait, what do you think is first?
Royal Rumble.
Okay, that's fine. Go on.
The regular Royal Rumble, not the greatest. Yeah. The greatest did not end up being the greatest.
Do you think there will be two a year now? Because that'd just be...
it would ruin it a little bit for me, I think.
Yeah, it'd destroy the mystique for sure.
It takes it away. I mean, I understand that having 50 dudes in a Royal Rumble is kind of cool, but at the same time, I feel like 45 of those dudes were kind of filler anyways.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks about a 50-man Rumble is that 40 of the dudes couldn't have won on their very best day, with Vince McMahon being as high as he could possibly be on them.
I thought you were just going to stop with as high as he could possibly be.
Oh, yikes.
Whew. Well, I guess we'll start off like we always do. We're going to dig into the dirt sheets.
Oh, I think we're going to put Hawkins over tonight, brother.
You think we are?
Yeah.
We're going to try. We're going to try, even though he didn't get put over this week. Sorry, Hawkins.
No, that was Vince McMahon smoking a doob.
Oh, yeah. That was good then.
Thanks, man.
That was good. Yeah, he'd definitely have to be high to put Hawkins over at this point.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to Hawkins. I know
we love you, brother.
He's one of your loves.
He's in the woo crew, is all.
He is. He is, even though he hasn't really earned his position.
He's the junior member, for sure.
Right.
He's the one that takes the pins.
Once he gets some W's, we'll start to believe in him some more again. But
exactly.
They're going to keep riding this lost train for as long as they can, till the wheels fall off.
Here's the thing about it, is that at least he has something, and I really think, I mean, obviously this is never going to happen, but if they really wanted to do something with it, this could easily be like, oh, he won, and then he won again, and suddenly he's winning. But they'll never do that because they don't see him as anything, and I get it.
Yeah, your dreams are dashed, friend. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Well, first on the dirt sheet today, at Backlash last week, which we'll get into that a little bit. We're going to just touch on Backlash because it was extremely underwhelming, and it doesn't deserve a whole lot of time. But before the show even started, Liv Morgan and Sonya Deville got into it backstage.
Mm-hmm.
And this was definitely a shoot and not a work.
Okay.
Because it didn't come up anywhere else, but there are multiple reports of people saying that they actually got into a heated battle backstage. I think a lot of it stemmed from they were kind of trading jabs on Twitter back and forth, which everyone thought was just part of a storyline, but apparently was not.
Okay, you're gonna be mad at me again, but is Sonya Deville the one that she's paired with, or the other one? I know, dude. I'm sorry.
Sonya Deville is the one that was in Absolution, that is now dead.
Okay,
according to Paige. Liv Morgan's in the Riot Squad with Sarah Logan, who is the third member of that group. We'll just call her that.
Who is also a person in that group. Got it.
Yeah, she's one of those three. She's not the talented one. We'll just leave it at that. Oh, man. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So, yeah, they got into it backstage. I imagine it was a nice girl fight. Nothing happened outside of that.
When you say a nice girl fight, do you mean that they were braiding each other's hair and arguing about who would braid hair better? Because when you say nice girl, I'm thinking like they're fighting each other with niceness.
I think I meant more of nice as in these are two girls that fake fight for a living.
Okay.
And they real fought.
Got like shovey.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if punches were thrown. I don't know if it went
shovey.
I don't know if it went to blows.
Yeah.
But it was definitely shovey.
I like it.
We'll leave it at that.
All right.
All right, moving on. This week, reports from the Wrestling Observer that Creative is trying to go the Daniel Bryan storyline to get Roman over now. As shown by every single week, Roman is trying to follow the path to championship glory like Daniel Bryan had in fighting the Authority. And he keeps talking about how everyone keeps getting him down and, oh, man, everything's working against him. And, oh, I actually won that match, but the official didn't call it my way, blah, blah, blah. So this is the new Roman angle for now.
Is that he's being screwed over?
He's being screwed over.
You know when that actually works?
When he actually is being screwed over?
And when you're like seen as being someone that the company has not handpicked, and when you're a smaller guy, and when you're kind of like a little left of center as far as your look. I mean, those are the things that you need for that storyline to work. You can't be the handpicked guy that everyone already knows is the handpicked guy, and on top of that, be someone who is super physically imposing and handsome. And,
I mean, not to mention a guy that gets title shot after title shot for no reason.
Right.
So there's also that.
Sure, the narrative has already told us everything we need to know about his character. So trying to rewrite history is not going to work.
Yeah, that's true. And also, well, this today, new reports coming out, and I feel like these reports come out every week, so you can take them with the smallest of grains of salt. They are now saying that there are heated discussions going on about whether Roman actually is their guy going forward. Someone reported today, and I can't remember who it was, that there are officials that are above Vince McMahon that really would like to remove Roman from being the face of WWE right now, and they're talking about moving forward with someone else. Now, whether that has legs, we will see in the coming weeks. But as of right now, I don't believe any of that.
Yeah, I'm certain there's no one over Vince McMahon. He has a majority share of the company.
That's what I thought too. So when they said there are people that are above Vince McMahon, I'm like, who? Who is there?
Maybe they mean there's like a board of people suggesting, but I'm pretty sure that Vince McMahon is still firmly in control of the shares.
Yeah, but they may be people that have his ear at least. Like one of the ears. Not both.
Maybe.
Just like half.
Just like half of a single ear.
Half of a single ear. But that's about all I want to talk about Roman. I feel like that all gets beaten to death by everybody else.
Can that be it for the week?
I think it will. Anytime his name comes up again, we're going to skip it.
Right.
So next we got Neville. Oh, poor Neville. His contract is frozen right now because he won't show up for work.
Right.
Because of that argument he had with Creative, he didn't like the direction he was going, so he just bounced. Well, apparently he has to fulfill his contract before they can let him go. And I guess there was some sort of appearances that he had to meet within his contract in order for it to become null and void, or for them to finally give him his release.
Yeah, he has to fulfill his contract.
Yeah,
exactly.
and they're not giving him his release. He went back to the UK and he's been living there. He's not even on the WWE radar at this point, but they're holding on to his contract. He can't go anywhere else. He's making zero money right now. The dude's going to be broke eventually, and he's going to be like, all right, let's just do this thing.
What do you do if you're him?
I go back and I just finish out the contract.
Yeah.
You know?
Same.
You're making money. Yeah, you may hate the way your character's going. At this point, they already hate you. So you'll probably just come back, fulfill your obligations, and then just move on to the indie world, which you'll do fine in at this point because you're Neville and you're a badass.
See, I agree about going back, but I would take it a different direction because spite rules everything around me. And I'm like the Wu-Tang, but instead of cash, it's spite. I would go back and intentionally wrestle like shit and be a total joke and refuse to do everything they told me to do and just be an absolute asshole to work with until they finally fired me.
Or you could go back and do those things, but do what they ask you to do until eventually, like, all right, this dude sucks. Let's just let him go, or we'll just keep him off TV until his contract runs out. Which is,
I'd be like Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan, like overselling everything, looking absolutely ridiculous, making a fool of myself. Because here's the problem. If I'm Neville, I'm concerned that if I go back, they're just going to bury me so that I have no value on the indies. But if I go and act like a total dick and be Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan, then I become a folk hero and everyone gets behind me.
now, if you're WWE in that case, say you're on the flip side, do you even put this guy on TV for fear of that happening in the first place?
And you know what? That's their right and that's their option. But I'll tell you what, they're at least going to give them a match. And when they do, if it's me, I'm making them look stupid. And hey, maybe I decide I'm going over halfway through. Who knows? Like, whatever I feel like I can get away with, I'm doing. And then when they pull me backstage and they're like, oh, you can't do shit like that, I'd be like, fine, bench me. But I'll tell you what, I'll be at every fucking taping until my contract runs out. Suck a dick.
That's probably what I would do. Honestly, he hates it there. He doesn't like the way they're doing things. He obviously doesn't like 205 Live, which I don't understand why at this point. I feel like it's gotten a lot better. And I feel like he'd fit in really well there with some of the guys that have come up, like with Buddy Murphy and with Mustafa Ali. It would be great to see matches with those good dudes. And I think they'd make him look really good regardless, whether he's going over or not. I just think it's in his best interest to go back, period.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he has to at least do that because he's going to end up broke at some point because, money don't last forever.
Right. Absolutely. But I get it. And I get him seeing some of the guys that are on Raw, like guys that he was in NXT with, like Baron Corbin, for instance. Yeah. And being like, well, I am 5 times the wrestler this dickhead is, but you're throwing me over here because I'm short.
Yeah, it's super unfair. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He should be on the main card.
He should be. And he proved already that when he was doing the King of the Cruiserweights, he got himself over by being a dickish heel. And I feel like, that's just, proof that, like, he could get himself over better than most of the roster anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
It's a real shame, man. Real shame.
It happens, though. There's not much you can do about it. I mean,
he has to go back.
Yeah.
But, like, for me, spite is a very powerful motivator, and I'm going back, and I'm going to make... So, if you want to make me miserable, watch how miserable I can make you.
It's coming back at you,
that's how I would play it. Yeah, exactly. you want to play the misery game?
That's it. I'm going to win. Speaking of misery... Charlotte Flair is going to be out of action after Money in the Bank due to surgery because she has a ruptured breast implant that I think happened on one of the more recent events. It may have been Backlash, actually.
Right.
And
go ahead.
I was honestly surprised that she went over this week to be a part of Money in the Bank with them knowing that. But
yeah, it seems a little bit strange just because I feel like, now I know it depends in, breast augmentation, like which route you go, because now they do saline, which is pretty safe to be in your body, but they used to do something like really bad for you. Silicone, that's what it was. They used to do silicone, which if that started leaking was like a serious health risk. So clearly she has the saline because there's no way she would be still performing if otherwise. But I don't know. I don't necessarily feel like it's a big deal for her to just start now. Like I don't understand the timeline.
Me neither. It's weird. They already said that she's going to do the whole European tour, which they're on now, and that she may get the surgery directly after, and the recovery time for that's about 3 weeks or so. So it's possible that she's back for Money in the Bank because I think the European tour lasts about 2 weeks. If she comes back and gets it done right away and she recovers quickly, she should be back for Money in the Bank. So they may do what they did with Alexa Bliss the last 2 or 3 weeks when she had her breast enhancement surgery, and just have her do just some video promos and things. She won't actually be in the ring for a little bit. So,
well, hey, we wish you the best, Charlotte.
yeah, get well soon. Your match kind of looked shitty this week, but I don't think it was your fault. Moving on.
Indeed.
Yeah. A lot of Jericho news this week, which I am never sad to report because Jericho is the man.
He's top 10 all time for me. I don't know about you.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, without a doubt. We'll start with the WWE news. On his podcast this week, he was talking about how he was actually the backup for Shane McMahon at WrestleMania. If Shane wasn't able to make it, they actually had a plan set in motion almost for him to get there in time because his band had a show that day in Connecticut.
Yeah.
They were trying to find the best route to get him there because his show was an early one. I think it was a 4:00 show. He was supposed to be done performing by 5:30. He was literally going to get a police escort to the airport, quick flight all the way down to New Orleans, police escort to the venue, and they said he would make it there right on time for the match because that match was about mid-card. That would have been amazing, and I wish it would have happened, and it makes me sad that
cool.
it didn't.
Yeah, well, you got to get your McMahons in the fucking pay-per-view, I guess. But
I mean, the fact that Shane wrestled with all the shit he had going on, because Jericho kind of disclosed a lot more of what actually happened to him as well, with the hernia that popped up, and he ended up getting that staph infection from an IV because he was out of the country when he got medical treatment, and the IV gave him the staph infection. So that's where the diverticulitis came from.
Yeah, I was actually thinking when you brought up the Charlotte Flair thing, exactly that. That's probably why she's not doing the surgery in Europe because she you just never know. I mean, look, I'm sure there are competent doctors all over the world, but when you're paying for it, generally out of pocket, and you're paying a ton of money, you're generally going to get a little bit better care. That's that just is what it is. But
not to mention you want to recover at home anyways.
Oh, absolutely.
When it comes down to it, I mean, it's a lot more comfortable, and I feel like the recovery time is quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So he also disclosed why he was pulled from the casket match as well, which I found really interesting. Had nothing to do with Rusev whatsoever. They what happened is, so the Rusev thing, they weren't sure if they were going to get Jericho. When they got Jericho, they wanted him in the casket match because he's a bigger name than Rusev is. I mean, let's be honest.
Sure.
He's been around a lot longer. So they decided to put him in the casket match. Then he disclosed to the WWE that he was planning on going back to New Japan after the Greatest Royal Rumble, which we'll get into that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
WWE didn't like that very much. They weren't mad at him. They were happy he was honest, but at that point they decided to move him back to the Greatest Royal Rumble. And apparently one of the Saudi Arabian princes really wanted Rusev in the casket match anyway, so it all kind of worked out in the end. But that's
I guess it truly was a Rusev day.
Indeed it was. And so that's why all that got shook up for 2 weeks in a row. It was all just behind the scenes malarkey.
Just a bunch of malarkey.
You damn right. So the last bit of Jericho news, we found out that he did indeed come back to New Japan and beat the ever-living piss out of Naito, a.k.a. Naito.
Old Nada.
And they set up a match between Jericho and Naito June 9th at New Japan's Dominion, which is a huge event, which will also now include Omega versus Okada. What is this, 4? Is this the 4th time?
Yes, this will be 4.
4th. And this time it's 2 out of 3 falls with no time limit. I feel like this match could go the duration of the entire event. It may just be the Jericho match and the Omega Okada match.
I'd be totally actually cool with that. That would be, I would say that Omega Okada 3, that's tough.
I think 2 was the best one.
I think 2 is the best one, but isn't that the one that had no finish?
Yes. Yeah, it's the one that had no finish. And then 3 went
Omega
pretty
went
long,
over.
though.
Yeah, and Omega went over.
Was it 3 that he went over?
Yeah, because that was the G1.
That's right.
And then he lost to Naito.
Yep. So, yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm going to have to find a way to watch that.
Yeah, man.
In June. That's June 9th. So that's coming up. in.
Yeah, I actually just had a burst of adrenaline when you said that, which is really weird because I'm sitting in my chair and I'm like, yeah, fuck. just out of nowhere.
Contain it. We're about to throw some
Bottled
more. We got a bunch of injury news this week, and it's kind of sad.
Yeah.
So Tyler Bates hurt again. He sustained a shoulder injury at Progress's Super Strong Style 16. This dude seriously keeps getting hurt.
He's a growing boy.
Or he's just a giant pane of glass that just breaks constantly.
He's a growing boy. The bones haven't set yet.
I guess he needs to get those bones set quick.
Yeah, man.
This isn't working out for me, and this isn't working out for Mustache Mountain.
That's true. It's definitely not working out for Mustache Mountain.
No. So we don't know how long he's out. There haven't been further reports yet as of this recording. So I guess we'll find out. We'll find out if we see him on NXT anytime soon either. I haven't seen him on there in a couple of weeks again. So
it's been a bit, yeah.
But we'll get into this in 205 Live. Next week, 205 Live is doing a co-event with the UK guys. So that'll be super interesting to see the matchups there. That was announced this week on 205 Live. Good old Rockstar Spud. Let us know about that. And then
well, that's pretty rad because we don't get enough UK, in my opinion. We don't get enough UK people.
No, we don't. There's so many good ones out there, and they don't get a whole ton of TV time either.
I know you just want more Wolfgang.
Wasn't my first choice.
I like Wolfgang, man.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you're entitled.
He's not like a top tenor, but he's aight.
I don't think he's a top 100er for me.
He's a top tenor UK for me, for sure. But
whatever. All right, moving on.
Right behind old Stu Bennett.
Stu Bennett. Finally, last injury news today. Brandy Rhodes has a terrible clavicle injury. That's going to keep her out for a long while. She had to get surgery, and Cody posted the x-rays up online, and apparently she wrestled a bunch of matches with it, too. It looked pretty jacked up. So she's going to miss some serious time.
Yeah, I've always thought that the thing, so I'm sure we've all thought about, if I had to break something, I feel like the least thing I would want broken, definitely back first, but then probably clavicle, because that's your whole range of motion,
Exactly. It's going to be tough for her to do anything for a long time. So, I mean, even after she kind of recovers from that, just the rehab time is going to take a while, too. So, kind of sucks. She was just starting to pick up a little bit of steam, but I'm sure she'll come back better than ever.
Hell yeah, man.
Better than ever. Well, that's all I got on the dirt sheet this week. Shall we move on to Backlash?
Let's talk about the fucking worst pay-per-view I have ever seen.
Do you think it was the worst you've ever seen?
It absolutely, 1,000%.
Yeah,
It's no match on it was the worst match I've ever seen, but as a whole, the sum of its parts, it was the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen.
It was pretty bad. And based on the star ratings that came out from Wrestling Jesus this week, there's only one match that scored over 2 stars.
What was it? The Miz and Rollins?
Yes, it was. Actually, no. Okay. I'm sorry. There were two. The Nakamura and AJ match. Also, I think it was like a 3 or 3.5 or something. Even though that was such a stupid finish.
Yeah,
anyways,
I thought it was worse than the Greatest Royal Rumble match. Actually,
I thought it was too. I really did.
Well,
it was just low blow after low blow. There are a couple points I just want to talk about on this. So, first off, I want to know what's up with Bayley right now.
Oh, yeah.
She's had so many sloppy matches. The past 2 or 3 matches have looked just terrible. And I know for a fact now, so the last one, it was maybe it was her opponent. This week, Ruby's had good match after good match recently. And this match just looked terrible. And
Ruby won though, so that was good. I'm starting to really get into Ruby's work and her character really more than anything, really more than her work. But I do like the little stage dive senton she does.
Yeah, that's badass.
I'm really becoming a fan a little bit,
fan. I mean, getting there. There. She's got to do a little more. For
she's
me.
new. She's new.
Right. She's a lot better than she was on SmackDown already.
Hell yeah, dude. And honestly, I was watching NXT really heavy when she was in NXT. And the whole time she was in NXT, I was like, yeah, I don't really see anything there. But she found it, whatever it is.
Yeah, it's starting to come out now. And honestly, I think it'd be great if she'd start to break away from the whole Riot Squad thing and just kind of be a heel by herself. I don't feel like she needs those two to kind of prop her up at this point. And I know that that's like a heelish thing, to always have someone in your corner. But when it comes down to it,
cheating is
right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that is the means to the end there. You don't catch many baby faces that have a manager. But in her case, I don't know that she really needs it because she's got the moveset already for it. She already has the persona that fits it so well. She has the look that fits it so well. I just don't feel like she needs anything else that'll prop her up and make her look more heelish at this point.
I don't know. I kind of disagree with you in that I like that she has distractions, because the cool thing about the match, really the only cool thing about that match, is that Bayley, goes to punch the other two off the apron and stuff, and then boom, Ruby's back on offense. It's kind of like a nice segue for a heel. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that works, but there's so many other ways that she could exercise her heelness without having to have like two lackluster performers, at ringside. But I mean, at that point, you're giving two more girls a job, so there's that.
Yeah, whatever. No, I don't want to see anyone fired for sure.
They work for good build-ups to Ruby big matches, so I guess they work okay for now. Let's see. What else do we have on Backlash we want to talk about? Let's talk about the Miz and Rollins match because it was the only one that was really worth talking about when it comes down to it.
How many stars did Wrestling Jesus give this?
4.25.
Oh wow, that was hot. That was a little bit high for me. But
yeah, you did not love this match, and
I didn't dislike
it. We had a bit of a
I feel
heated
like
debate during the match. So
we did talk about it.
I'll let you preach your side. You can tell us what you think, and I will rebuttal.
There were just a few stops where they were clearly setting up, which drives me insane because I like things to be smooth. But again, this is something that you see in so many matches now. It's hard to really hold that against it. I just expect a lot out of Rollins, frankly, because I think he probably is. I mean, I think he's definitely top 5 in the entire company as far as work.
I'd say top 3.
Yeah, we're kind of on the same page there.
Yeah,
I'd honestly probably say top 2. I think it's him and AJ, and then I don't know who your third was. I feel like that could be a couple people.
Yeah, I honestly third I'd probably go Daniel Bryan.
Oh
but
yeah,
he's still working himself in, but I feel like he's starting to get his footing, starting to learn his the new way. He's trying to wrestle a little safer. So
okay, fair enough. And Miz is no slouch either. Miz has been having some really good matches, and I just felt like there were too many stops where they were kind of waiting for each other. I felt like the end was just a little bit wonky, and I really hated. For 2 reasons. I really hated the second skull-crushing finale. A, because it seemed like Rollins didn't get his leg down fast enough, and it made it look super sloppy. And then B, because I feel like The Miz is a strong enough character where if he hits his finish twice, he should win.
Fair points. First, I want to talk about the leg thing. One, I feel like him trying to sell his leg being hurt during that second skull-crushing finale may have kept that move from being... I'm talking straight kayfabe here. It probably kept that move from being as impactful as it usually would be if both legs were down and he hit it clean. So maybe that's what they were going for there. I probably unintentionally, honestly, when it comes down to it. But I honestly, I thought it was a great match. The fact that The Miz made us believe he would win, even though we all knew in our heart of hearts that he wasn't going to go over in this match because they can't give him the IC title to take back to Raw and leave, SmackDown with just one belt that everyone's after. So I thought that was great, and the fact that they can put on a match like that, it's in such a lackluster pay-per-view, and it was the opening match of the card. It literally lowered. It made the other matches look that much worse. That's how good they were. I mean, it was fantastic. I'm glad they gave him a bunch of time. I think that was one of the longer matches on the card too, which was great. I think they got like 20, 22 minutes. So I mean that added to the, the allure of all of it. It let them really tell the story and really build up to the finish as well. And I was okay with the finish too.
Okay.
The curb stomp you're not kicking out of, man. You getting your face smashed to the ground. But I guess my one qualm with it is that sometimes I think Miz works a little too safe when it comes to things. So when he takes some moves, like when he takes the curb stomp, it didn't look as believable because you could see that his head didn't go all the way down.
Dude, thank you for pointing that out, because that was another big problem that I had. So when he took that curb stomp, he, like, you could see that he, like, put his body prone and then kind of, like, cocked his head back to make sure he was in the right area.
Yeah.
Which it's like, why would you look at someone who is about to stomp your head into the ground and then just let them do it? Like that, again, I know it's a nitpick, but yeah, like I said, that's what I feel like that's what I meant by the end was a little bit wonky, but that didn't work for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's the part I definitely agree with is he works a little too safe when it comes to really selling things like that and making them look a little more realistic. He's worried more about his safety, which is fine. I guess you can be, but when you're in the industry you're in, you still have to sell things and make them look, as real as they would look. I guess my biggest complaint with Seth Rollins, I like his finisher, but I hate the way it's set up in every single match. Like, there's no way dudes will get up on all fours and stay there for like 10 to 20 seconds or more just waiting for it if you're in a real type of match. So I always hate the setup for that finisher.
I agree for the most part. However, the only thing that I'll add to that is that I really, really do. I mean, it's one of my favorite finishers. So I really feel like, I guess what it needs more than anything is for the person to look like they're kind of like stirring and getting up more than it needs to look like, the person is pulling their body up. You know what I mean?
Right. But it just comes back to you saying how it should, like some of those things could have been smoother, like some of the setups could have been smoother. And that I agree with. But still, I mean, when you line this up to every other match on the card, it is far and beyond better than everything else they did that day.
Absolutely.
There's really not a whole lot else I really wanted to talk about on Backlash. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up about Backlash? Because is it even worth even more time at this point?
No.
All right.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Well, let's move the hell on then. Mm-hmm. Let's go to Raw from the Island of Length. I stole that from Corey Graves, but I felt like it needed to be said again.
I get it.
Because it was so good. Long Island, New York. So Raw was, overall, I thought it was great this week. Mm-hmm. Much better than last week. And like we said last week, maybe I said, I felt like after Backlash, there would kind of be a reset button hit and things would start to take shape, and there would be much greater storytelling. There'd be better feuds put together. There'd be better matches put together. They wouldn't be trying to do a quick 1 week build to a pay-per-view. They've got, 5 or 6 weeks before Money in the Bank. So I feel like Raw kind of turned it around this week. You couldn't tell by the numbers they did. I think Raw and SmackDown only did like 2.3 million viewers each this week, which isn't great. They're usually in the 3 million, so they lost a lot of viewers. I think probably because the NBA was going on and there's hockey playoffs and all kinds of other things that are going against it. But anyways, so the first promo I want to talk about, there were a lot of weird promos in Raw. I'll preface by saying that. The first one was Braun's. The Treehouse promo. Let's talk about that for a second.
Go for it, man. Whatever you got. So, I'm all ears.
So Braun is talking about his experience as a child and how he was left out of building a treehouse. And when they got done building the treehouse, he waited till everyone was in the treehouse and he pulled the treehouse down.
Right. He pulled the tree down. I thought he pulled the whole tree down.
You're right. It was the entire tree that Braun did then pull down.
Right.
I don't get any of this. I don't know what that was trying to accomplish. I'm thankful that KO, my savior, came out and did make the save on that with his monster comments.
Right.
Calling Braun a bad monster.
Sure.
But so that sets up a match between those two. Which, are you getting tired of the KO and Braun matches yet?
I'm getting tired of seeing KO get beat down for sure.
That's one big thing.
I'm also uncomfortable with how many times Braun has attempted murder in his life, according to this narrative.
Indeed. I don't think it didn't really paint him in a good light, especially considering what we've heard with them trying to really take control of, what Braun's doing next because he's kind of in line to be the next face.
But didn't this reek of Vince McMahon?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, they said that everything that Braun's doing has to run across Vince's desk before it's approved at this point because he wants to have his hand in everything that Braun does going forward. He wants to make sure his direction is clear, which I think is the worst thing for Braun right now because he was doing just fine without Vince McMahon getting his grubby paws all up in his story.
Yeah, so soon he'll be reading nursery rhymes.
Oh, it's going to be bad.
Yep.
If he says suffer and succotash, I think it's going to be over for him.
Oh, it's coming, dude. You know it's coming.
Oh, boy. It makes me a little scared. A little scared for Brawny boy. Oh, man. And it's weird. Like, when he was telling the Treehouse story, I almost felt like the crowd was starting to turn against him for a second.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They were like, what?
Like,
why am I cheering you now?
You're killing kids from, like, knocking a tree down?
Yeah.
Oh, it was super bad. So the KO Braun match, of course, Braun won over in that to put his stamp on the Money in the Bank ladder match. The match was okay. I actually felt for a minute like KO could possibly win. I knew in my heart of hearts he would not. Mm-hmm. But the way he actually mounted some offense at this point made him look a little stronger than he has the past 3 weeks when he's gotten his ass whooped in the 6-man tag matches that they've had.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with him. He just signed a new 5-year contract, so there's one small shimmering light.
Yeah, I just hope somewhere in the next 5 years they decide to do something with him.
I know. I would love to see him with a belt again, no matter which one it is, but I don't know. I don't see anything good in his immediate future. But I mean, if you think about it, when it comes down to it, there's got to be some guys that aren't getting a push at all times. Like KO had his push last year, the year before, so I feel like there's other guys that kind of have to step up and get theirs, and it's kind of like circular.
100%. I totally agree.
So he can't win all the time. It just makes me sad to see him not.
And Braun can't always be a monster forever either. That's the key. So like you're on this like unbeatable Braun kick right now. Obviously, that is not like you're not capable of doing that forever.
Exactly. I mean, Braun was kind of like a little bit shitty for a while when he was with the Wyatt family. He was just supporting cast at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's kind of getting his time to shine, which is fine. It's all well and good. He's extremely over with everybody, and nobody has a problem with it, which is always a good sign. So let's move on. We get a whole bunch of promos, one from the R Word that we're not mentioning the rest of the episode. Mm-hmm. We get a Bayley promo.
Doesn't exist.
A Breezy promo. Now, let me talk a bit about the Breezy promo. We got a lot
Of course we were going to stop here.
You damn right we are, bitch. We got to talk about my boys. I like to see them on TV. And sidebar for a second. They have a new T-shirt on the WWE shop, so that's a good sign.
Do you own it already?
I don't, because it's red. I don't like red shirts.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
It's just I'm one of those dudes, like I kind of have like reddish hair, and red doesn't work on me. If I feel weird in it, I feel like I stick out in a crowd, and I don't want to be that guy. I like duller colors.
Okay. I was going to say, do you really think your hair is reddish?
It used to be when I was younger, but my beard is red.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You have a ginger beard?
I do. I'm ginger and hard, but don't get me wrong, I'm not one of like the neckbeard dudes, but yeah, I find it interesting that they have a shirt on the shop, so it makes me think that they're going to get some more work. Not to mention they're in a new CarMax commercial, so
yeah.
I mean,
right. Well, Ziggler's in a ton of commercials, and we see them doing nothing with him. So
no. We're going to get to that, brother. We're going to get to that.
All right.
But anyways, getting back to my original point with the Breezy promo. There were a lot of tag team promos that happened over both shows this week. It makes me think that they might be doing a tag team Money in the Bank this year. What are your thoughts on that?
I've heard that idea floated around. I don't really love it because I don't necessarily think you have enough good tag teams right now to justify it. And, so you can't really do anything with the Woken ones on Raw because they just got it. And then Bludgeon Brothers, it would make the most sense for them to lose the belts that way because then, maybe they are tired after a match because it seems like the way they're booking them right now, you're not gonna beat them straight up. So it would have to be a SmackDown group that wins it. But I don't know who's strong right now as a tag team. Maybe Sanity wins it. I don't know.
That'd be awesome. Well, I mean, Ziggler and McIntyre, they're building up big time right now. I know we'll get to that in a minute, but I feel like that's
but you
one
can't
tag team.
take the belt off the Woken ones right now, can you?
You could. You absolutely 100% could. I mean, if you think about it, by the time we get to Money in the Bank, they will have held the belt for about 2 months or so. Give or take. And they're not going to cash in right away.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they'll hold on to it for a little while until they kind of pick their moment. Like right now, everything that the Woken ones are doing, they're just blasting people. They've had, 2 or 3 squash matches really the past few weeks, other than, the match they had to win the belt against the Bar, which ultimately almost looked like a squash match for how short it was and how much the Bar just got wrecked. So, yeah, I mean, I like the tag team Money in the Bank thing. It's something fresh and new. I think this is going to be like the 19th or 20th Money in the Bank match they've had for the singles. It'll only be the second one for the women's. But, I mean, if they want to do something fresh and new, I think it'd be really interesting to see, tag teams deciding together to cash in or not. It could make for some really funny storylines depending on who ends up getting it.
Yeah, I agree.
If they go that direction. So, yeah, there was a whole bunch of promos that happened. Then we get the shittiest 6-man tag ever. Titus Worldwide and No Way Jose against Baron Level Baldness and the Revival. I don't know. Feel like they just put that match together just to make Corbin look a little better after getting beat by No Way Jose last week. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And again, Corbin's pants make him look like he has a vagina.
Yeah, they're very V-shaped.
And they are flesh colored as well. So it's a twofer. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. Take with it what you will.
Fair enough.
So then we get our first women's Money in the Bank qualifier, Sasha versus Ruby versus Ember. How did you feel about the ending on this with Ember winning?
I'm not an Ember hater, but I kind of, like I said, I'm becoming a fan. I really would have liked to see Ruby.
I would have too, but I feel like they have different plans for Ruby. I feel like she might be in the title match against Nia for Money in the Bank, because they're going to have title matches for each of the titles during this pay-per-view. They're gonna.
Good point.
Because you can only do, if they do the tag team, you're only looking at 3 Money in the Bank matches. So that's going to take up maybe like an hour and a half of the pay-per-view. And this is a bigger pay-per-view, so it's going to go probably 4 hours. So you got to fill that time somehow. And there's going to be, title matches. So I feel like maybe they're setting Ruby up for that. Can you see anybody else going against Nia on Raw for the title?
No, I think it actually does make sense for it to be Ruby just because she is the most heel-like, and it's someone that you could just feed Nia to get a quick pin. The only other people that could happen is, again, Alexa, which I don't want to see, and then Mickie James.
There's no way it's going to be Mickie James. She's gotten squashed too many times. That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So
I feel like this whole match is just going to be them feeding someone to her.
It's just going to be a time waster, really. Mm-hmm. Maybe not. You never know.
The match could be good. There's that. But we can pretty much both assume that whoever it is, Nia is going to win.
So you think she's going to hold the belt for a little while?
I think that she's definitely going to hold it until someone cashes in the Money in the Bank, if they go that direction.
So she's one of those, like, she's too strong for them just to get a simple pin in a match.
If they want to book her as a monster, which they have shown a little bit of both there have been times where she's looked vulnerable, and there have been times where she's looked like a beast. But yeah, if they want to continue to book her like a monster, then yeah, she's going to have to lose in a money to get the belt off of her. It's going to have to be a Money in the Bank thing.
I mean, if you look back, and I know once WrestleMania hits, it's kind of reset button, but last year, earlier this year, she lost a couple of matches to Asuka. So, I mean, she still looks beatable. She's still vulnerable in that way. So I feel like it's possible she could lose, but I mean, yeah, you're probably right. She's not going to lose it at Money in the Bank. It'd be kind of too soon after Mania.
Yeah, I think that was a different time. I think that's when they were making her vulnerable, Nia. Now I think they're going full speed ahead with Beast Nia, and
even though she kind of the crowd kind of turned on her at Backlash.
Yeah, for sure. And to be honest, like, you know, we're dealing with the whims of a madman, so Vince McMahon could look at her next week and be like, "Oh, I don't like it. Change it. Change the title. I'm done with this.
Let's get it out of here." So, I mean, I was cool with Ember winning. I'm not huge on Ember, but I think she'll make for a really fun match at Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
She has a lot of cool spots. I mean, she's an up-and-comer. She's something fresh, something new. I was happy it wasn't Sasha. I feel like she's going to continually just keep getting buried until this.
Did you just say that you were happy it was Ember?
Yeah, I did. I know. It's weird. But I mean, she looked good in the match. It was a decent match this week. I'm getting a little annoyed with this like double eclipse finisher that she keeps doing every time she's in a triple threat match.
Yeah.
Because that's the second time they've had that finish. So that one's getting a little old on me, but
I just think it's because it honestly, I mean, you have to at least agree that it's a freaking cool move.
It is. And it's a great finisher when she hits it correctly and when someone sells it.
Right. And just like everything that the WWE, once they realize it's cool, they just run it into the ground.
Indeed they do. And will continue to. Thankfully, we didn't get any Titus Worldwide falling over this week, so, you know, that was a plus.
See, I wasn't quite done with that yet. I feel like I could have taken 2 or 3 more weeks.
Really?
I mean, it's just so dumb, you know?
And it just gives him something in his character that had not a lot of character prior.
Right.
Speaking of not a lot of character, perfect segue, Bobby Lashley. Oh, man. Let's talk a little bit about that really interesting interview he had with Renee Young, who really tried her hardest to make something of it. Oh, God. That was possibly the weirdest interview I've ever seen in WWE programming.
Mm-hmm.
The story of his sister terrorizing him, and then at the end, he calls them all of his sisters by name and says he loves them. I mean, it was,
I don't know. Whatever.
It was super awkward, man.
Whatever you got to do, bro.
I almost had to go back and watch it again just to make sure that I heard what I actually heard during this interview.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whatever. Like, I got nothing out of this. I don't really understand why I'm supposed to care about this guy. I kind of was excited that he was back, and then already I'm kind of like, eh.
I mean, they're making him look like a weak little bitch.
To be fair, he didn't help his cause by not being able to lift Big Cass at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
No, or KO at Backlash.
Right. That looked like
KO fell over. It looks so bad. And the pin that he got on KO at Backlash. Oh my God, that's his finisher now. Is just a stalled suplex? Like that's where we're at.
Yeah, not the best.
Oh, it was horrible. It was so horrible.
Well, you know, someone probably saw him doing that and it was like, I love it. That's your finish. And it's like, I don't know about that.
Well, that's the thing. The first time he did it, everyone's like, holy shit, that's badass.
Yeah.
So of course, in the back, they're like, that's got to be your finishing move. Everyone like pops really hard when you did it. But no, that's not a finishing move. It's a good setup, but nothing more than that.
Yeah.
So after that, we get the Jinder versus Gable match, and Jinder gets the win this week to get his payback on the goblet from last week. Jinder is Jinder's starting a program with the R word that we didn't want to bring up again.
Yeah, finally he'll get cheered.
Yeah. Jinder is now the biggest babyface in the company.
Exactly. The modern day Maha.
The Maha mouthful.
Yeah, if I could roll my R's, buddy, I'd do it for you, but I can't.
You know what? You tried your hardest.
I did.
For that, I applaud you.
Thank you.
So we get a bunch more promos, closing with a Zack Ryder promo.
Woo, woo, woo.
You know it. And Kurt Angle then woo-woos Jinder in this promo. As Jinder is trying to get his shot at the Money in the Bank, Kurt just woo-woos him. And then Zack Ryder goes for the fist bump. Kurt Angle goes for the 5, and then realizes that Zack Ryder was going for the fist bump. And that is our awkward moment of the night. Sorry, second awkward moment of the night after the Lashley interview.
Kurt Angle's not quite young enough to realize that people fist bump.
Yeah, no one 5s anymore, man. It is no longer 2001. Sorry, Kurt. So then we get our next Dolph Ziggler-Drew McIntyre match against Slater and Rhino, the forever jobbers now. You know what's the most amazing thing to me about this? Rhino is still in the WWE.
Yeah. Well, he was out for a long time, too.
Still, though, the dude's super old.
He's very old, and people still love a nice gore.
I suppose so, even though he's not.
I'll tell you this. I like his spear better than Roman Reigns, so...
It's more believable because he's like a bigger dude. He looks like a rhinoceros that would spear someone.
He looks like he would just destroy you with a tackle, for sure.
Hence the name Rhino.
Exactly.
Go figure.
What a gimmick, bro.
I know. It's like they thought that one through.
It's like they didn't create it.
Yeah, seriously. We get Bobby Roode not sporting his glorious neck protector.
I can't believe it.
I know.
I honestly thought that was going to take off.
I thought it was too. But he gets the pin over Elias this week, so all of our thoughts of Elias finally getting a little bit of a push were dashed. Mm-hmm. Or were they?
I don't think so. I think this is just more mid-card even Steven-y stuff.
I suppose too. It doesn't really matter all that much when it comes down to it. So after that match, oh God, the worst thing of the night happened. Am I wrong in saying this was the worst thing that happened of the night?
This is absurd considering Ryder is from Long Island and is over huge, and yet you give Mojo the match. It defies all expectation, and I feel like they did it because Mojo is a heel, but like this would have been a great time for the Woo Crew to start, man.
It would have.
Ryder comes out in all black, and he's like, "Fuck you, Seth Rollins," and then he loses still, of course, but then like Ziggler and Hawkins and McIntyre come out, put him through a table or something cool.
If you were booking WWE, things.
I know who my top guy would be. Woo, woo, woo.
The woo woo world would be a different place.
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, we get Mojo, which Rollins made him look way better than he actually is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And of course, Rollins gets the pin. He's now issuing open challenges, which
I'm going to say this. I don't hate Mojo. I'm not a huge fan.
Why do you not hate Mojo? What redeeming qualities does Mojo have? Is it because he teamed with Ryder for a while?
Well, that's certainly part of it. But the true, honest to goodness reason is because I've read interviews with him. I've seen interviews with him, and he truly, in his heart of hearts, loves the sport of wrestling. Like, he really, truly loves wrestling. And I think that the fact that it's his passion and it's his goal goes a long way for me, because I feel like there are plenty of guys who are just collecting a paycheck there.
We could probably name a couple off the top of our heads. I still do not like Mojo. I mean, for many reasons, but I won't get into it further. So we get a Finn Balor promo after that. Then we get an Axel and Hawkins promo, and they're trying to come up with a new name. So I feel like we should help them out.
Why do you keep calling him Hawkins?
I did it again. That's 2 weeks in a row.
Second week in a row, man.
That's so great. Oh man, Axel and Bo Dallas. I even wrote down Hawkins. That's so. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm so confused by that.
Yeah, Axel and Dallas, the artist formerly known as the Miz Taraj. So they need a new name. What do you think, SBL? What do you call these two guys? Where do they go?
Shit. Let's think.
I mean, they've been calling them Daxel.
Yeah, Daxel's not bad.
Not a huge fan of it. I don't like the just combining two guys' names. It doesn't work for me.
Maybe like the Misfits or the, because they're like kind of the cast-offs,
It's a tough one. Like, I don't even see a clear-cut direction for them. I mean, we talked last week on how they should probably just join up with, the Woken Warriors, which they ended up having a match with later.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer because of the Dallas Wyatt connection.
Right, you would think. But, I mean, maybe this match is leading up to that, but it didn't seem that way because it was so short and kind of a squash. So it didn't really show them as actually legit contenders. I honestly, I almost feel like they're going to end up fading off into the abyss unless something, miraculous happens or they come up with something that's really fantastic, which I don't see coming.
You already forgot one of their names, so.
Twice. I actually wrote Axel and Hawkins twice in this.
Yep.
So there's that. That goes to show you guys.
No bueno.
Yeah, no good. Yeah, the only thing I can say about the match they had with the Deleter of Worlds / Woken Warriors, they finally, I think, have a finisher that works. The double Sister Abigail actually looked good this week.
Well, a lot better, for sure.
I guess moving on from that, there wasn't a whole lot else that happened other than Balor went over to make it into the Money in the Bank, which is fantastic. Of those three that wrestled, the R Word and Sami Zayn and Finn Balor, I would most like to see Finn Balor get in there. I could honestly, he's the one dude I think I could see winning the Money in the Bank this year.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool, actually.
I think they could do some cool things with them. All right, and then with Raw, we had 2 dark matches this week. Cedric Alexander defeated Tony Nese, and Zack Ryder defeated Kurt Hawkins in a dark match. So your boy actually got to wrestle. He just wasn't on the television. But I think it's going to be for Saturday's main event this week. So you make it.
And I even tweeted, this is where, you join up with Hawkins, Dolph comes out, McIntyre comes out.
And it all comes together for you in the end.
Yep.
All right.
The crew begins.
Moving on to SmackDown.
Smack it down, bro.
Smack it down. We get Weird Paige promo, which I think is going to be, the story of our lives for the next year, as long as she's GM.
Or at least 6 months.
Yeah, she tried to make up for how terrible Backlash was, and tried to explain it away, saying that our wrestlers, our superstars, have been all over the world, and they've done so much over the past 3 weeks, and blah blah blah. Like, kind of in a roundabout way, saying, "Listen, we know Backlash was absolute garbage, and this might have been why." So, anyways, we get a great match out of Jeff Hardy and The Miz, I thought. The one thing of note, a couple of things. One is Jeff Hardy still capable of putting on good matches, despite what you saw with him and Randy Orton at Backlash.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that was not Jeff Hardy's fault.
No.
Neither was the Jeff Hardy and Jinder match.
Absolutely not. Now, second thing, how did you feel about the finish in this one?
I'm fine. I'm okay. Why?
Well, you hate how people take finishers and then, just get right up. Because, The Miz took the Swanton and then just rolled over to pin him for the win. It would seem like a finisher you would hate. Nay, abhor.
Yeah. I don't know.
You just don't care enough. These
These are two people that I like, so it's so hard for me to hate on them, I see your point, and it is taken.
Okay.
But no, I don't have a strong feeling. I wish I had a more strong feeling to give you, because I feel like that's what you're fishing for.
I am fishing hard, but it's okay. You don't.
You know what? I fucking hated it.
Good.
I fucking hated it.
But
yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, you're right. At the end of the day, you don't want to see someone take a swanton and then win immediately.
Especially considering every time Jeff gives the swanton, that's pretty much it. I have not seen anybody kick out of it since he's been back.
I do have a problem with a lot of finishers not being strong enough. That's the same problem I had with 2 skull-crushing finales happening without a finish.
Right.
And then immediately one weak-ass injured knee curb stomp happens, and it's a win. I don't know, man. That's the thing, is I feel like you have to just surrender the expectation that it's going to make sense a lot of the time. If I were booking, it would be like, look, a finish is a finish. Unless it's a big match, then we'll see.
Then we'll have much more false finishes. But
not much more. See, I don't like that either. Not much more. In a pretty big match, you get 1 finisher kick out.
And that's
in a super big match, you get 2. If someone hits 3 in any match, go fuck yourself.
That's it. Period.
Right.
You're out. One thing I can say, Miz probably had the 2 best matches of the week.
Mm-hmm. And
I feel like this dude deserves some belt. I don't care what kind of belt. I mean, I feel like they should just make up a belt and give it to him. I mean, they did that with Strowman.
No, I want the world title. I want the world title.
So do you think that he might be the one that wins Money in the Bank?
I hope he does. Yeah, I really do. I hope he does.
There are a lot of guys making the prediction that he's going to win, and somehow Daniel Bryan's going to win the WWE title, and he's going to cash in on Daniel Bryan.
Here's what I would like to see, actually, because it would just be somewhat humorous to me. And wait, we could see it at Extreme Rules, actually. So I would like to see Nakamura win the title by cheating, and then Miz skull-crushing finale Nakamura and win the title by cheating him. Like, I think that would be like the ultimate. It's like, oh, you're a bad guy? Well, here's the best bad guy.
Now let me ask you this though. And I can't remember any, but has a heel ever cashed in on another heel for the title?
Well, that's the thing, is like, you're not really, it's just the cash in, you know what I mean? Like,
it's not really
I see what you're saying.
That typically sets up
it's not like Nakamura's holding the belt. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, yeah, you're right. So he would technically have held the belt for a very short time period, and that's it.
Yeah, like 30 seconds.
Yeah. So I still feel like that kind of sets up a return match, though.
Well, you'd have to do at least one heel versus heel.
Right.
And then I feel like you move into Daniel Bryan.
But listen, Vinnie Mac hates the heel versus heel thing.
But it's just, it's like, it's what you have to do to get to the next point. And it's a surprise, like no one would see that coming. That's why it's cool.
But do they ever book cool?
No, never,
That's
ever.
what I'm saying.
They always book the least cool thing.
Exactly. All these cool premises and all these cool ideas that people will come up with, you'll never see it.
That's why I always win the predictions, is I just pick the thing that I think will suck the most.
I honestly am going to start taking that exact route when I make my picks.
Dude, I'm telling you, it works every time.
What will be the most boring way they could go with this? And it's going to be the way they go with it.
And it's funny because I would have gotten the AJ Styles match right too if I would have fully. But I kept telling myself, like, no, they've got to do one. There's got to be one. Oh, contraire, my friend. There didn't have to be one, and there wasn't one.
And it's terrible now because these, like, I'm going to call them the B pay-per-views because it's really what they are. The B pay-per-views, you're not going to see any big title changes at anymore. So it's just become so predictable that, whoever's holding the title is going to walk away with it because it's not like it used to be where these B pay-per-views, there could be a title change. Mm-hmm. You just don't see it anymore. I mean, if it's outside of a Survivor Series or SummerSlam or WrestleMania or Royal Rumble, you're not going to see it.
The time that I remember loving being a wrestling fan the most is when they kept switching the Triple H, then The Rock, sometimes Stone Cold in the mix, and they were all trading off the belt. Sometimes Mick Foley was in the mix. You know what I mean? And because you had all these top guys, and anyone could be the champion on a given week. And we used to go watch the pay-per-views at that one bar, and it was just so much fun because you never knew what was going to happen.
And you had hopes that something crazy would happen, and it usually did.
Right. You had surprises.
The allure is gone.
Not like boring. Yeah, not like boring surprises. Like, oh, Roman Reigns music hits. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
he somehow is shoehorned into the main event. Like, that's not something that I want to see. It was honest, legitimate surprises. Like I said, Nakamura wins. Oh, here's the Miz. Oh, the Miz pins Nakamura. Whatever, man.
Yeah,
it'd just be kooky and weird.
I mean, that's one of the reasons Money in the Bank is my second favorite pay-per-view, because then it at least creates that tension. I didn't have that tension with the Carmella Money in the Bank thing. I mean, yeah, it's the fact that I didn't like Carmella, but it just didn't have the...
That's literally the only reason.
No. There's a second reason.
Okay.
It didn't have the feel that a lot of the other Money in the Bank recipients had, because I felt like she didn't have a really big build to it. Like, yeah, there were like a couple of fake cash-ins that she had, but I don't know. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy her as champion. I still don't buy her as champion when it comes down to it. And I think that was my biggest problem with it. Now, the people that they're starting to line up for the Money in the Bank match, I can legit see all of them right now as champion. I could see all of them cashing in at some point and being a legit champion and not just some transitional champion.
Absolutely.
Which is good. They've gotten everything right so far.
Do you feel like the Money in the Bank would have meant more if it were Becky?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
And I feel like it would have made for a better storyline as well. Because you got Becky and Charlotte who are quote unquote friends. Like, seeing that happen, right. I mean, does that turn Becky heel? Does that turn Charlotte heel? I mean, there's so much you can do with that rather than Carmella, who's just a lackey. In most cases, they're trying to make a star now, which I honestly, I don't think her title reign's going to last very long. And I also don't think that she is going to last very long after the title kind of leaves her. I think she's going to slip back into the mid to jobber card when all is said and done. I just don't see her as a star, and I don't know. I think she's a face right now. Not a baby face, but just a face. That's a pretty face.
Just a human being.
She's just a pretty face at this moment. She's not a great wrestler.
Like a pretty person.
Right.
Okay.
Not a great wrestler. She does nothing flashy. Outside of her heelness, what else does she have going for her?
I'll agree that I have yet to see the big, this is Charlotte. I'm sorry, forgive me. This is Carmella's coming out party as a good wrestler. I agree that has not happened, but I'd like a little more information before I write it off.
I don't know. I've pretty much written it off at this point, and I'm ready for the reign of the Mella to be over.
Who do you put it on?
I don't care. Literally anybody.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, there is no one on that entire SmackDown women's roster that I hate more than her. There isn't one. So,
do you like the two Conics more than
yes.
Her? Okay.
I mean, after this, they're starting to grow on me a little bit after this week. Their promo was actually a little bit funny coming to the ring this week.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I mean, not hilarious, but
here, let's go down the list. There was a Bar, Shinsuke, Carmella, Ty, Dillinger, Naomi. Then we're at the two Conics.
Whole bunch of promos around Money in the Bank, basically. Yeah, we get to the two Conics. And so Charlotte beats Peyton Royce for her ticket to Money in the Bank. She earns her spot there. Match, not great. This 2 matches in a row that Charlotte has looked terrible, and I know it's not her. I know it's not. She puts on great matches almost every single time. Every title match she had was great. Yeah. Good. I'll say good to great, depending on the opponent.
Yeah, I feel like they were never the two. I guess they were still the Iconics in NXT.
They were, yeah.
The iconic duo.
Yep.
Were never really known as great workers down there. So I think that this is either well, actually, I feel like for sure this was a Triple H going, let's move them up, see what they've got. If it gets over, great.
If not, then well. I mean, people are definitely talking about them. We can say that.
Yeah.
But again, they haven't had a whole lot of in-ring work yet, and I feel like the crowd's kind of split 50-50 as to people that actually like them as heels. I'm not saying like them as, personalities, but like them as heels and they're doing an okay job, and the other half is like these two are just as obnoxious as Carmella is. So I'll be interested to see where they go from here. Unless they can string together some pretty good looking matches, I don't think they're going to really stick around very long.
Unless they're just phenomenal on the mic. But here's the thing. Even the people that are good on the mic have to be decent workers. Like, that's the one saving grace about Alexa. Like, she's not a good worker, but she's good enough to get by.
Right, and she'll keep getting better as well.
Right. Well, you have to hope. You hope that with everyone.
Right, as she keeps wrestling. I mean, she works well as a heel. Sure, her style is conducive to heelness right now. But if they ever moved her to be a face, I don't think she would work as well. So I don't see her ever moving from heelness, at least not for a while. Same thing works for the two Conics. I mean, they're gonna obviously be heels for a little while, but they feel to me they're gonna kind of fall into Carmella camp, and I think they're eventually gonna fizzle out.
Yeah,
so
they could. I hope they don't, but they could.
Yeah, I feel like they probably will. So next we get a Daniel Bryan backstage promo, Shelton Benjamin promo, Asuka promo. She almost made it through the whole thing without screaming. So, I mean, that was like
almost.
That was like a 3/4 win. She got to the very end before she screamed. She talked in a normal tone. I think she's starting to learn. And
maybe.
I think the fact that it was a video promo backstage, it was probably cut beforehand, and they're like, "Can you just tone it down a hair?" Like,
do you feel like she's like been frozen in time, like Austin Powers, and can't control the volume of her voice yet?
I feel like she's been frozen. Period. She hasn't done much since she's gone to Smackdown.
Sick burn, bro. Sick burn.
Kind of a sick burn, but I mean, let's be honest. The last match she had, she lost. It was the tag team with Becky, which getting paired up with Becky isn't the greatest thing ever.
No,
right
they had the six. Didn't they have the 6 women that she won?
Maybe. I don't know.
The week after. Yeah, I know. It kind of you forget.
There's always a 6th one. So I can't keep track of all of who's in the 6-woman tag every week.
All the Road Dogg specials.
Yeah, you never know. You never know who's in it every week. So I can't remember. She did not wrestle this week. So then we get Xavier Woods versus Cesaro. And Cesaro with the uppercut and the pin. The uppercut beat the ever-living shit out of Xavier Woods. It left a legit hole in his tongue, which he then posted on Instagram later.
Yeah.
It looked bad.
Yeah, I think Cesaro is a main event guy too. I don't get this booking. Just like tag feuds after tag feuds.
I think eventually what's going to happen is, and I don't wish this on anybody, but I feel like Sheamus is getting kind of towards the end of his career right now. He's had neck issues. It's just going to take one bad spot that's going to kind of put him out, and that'll kind of be when Cesaro will be able to kind of stand on his own 2 feet. Like I've said in the past, I think Cesaro and Sheamus, I mean, they make a good tag team. They've had some.
They are good together. I'll say that. Yeah. Sheamus alone, I think Sheamus is an okay worker, but there's something about his character that I'm just not enamored with. But heck, you put him with Cesaro, and suddenly it's a thing.
It's magic. I don't know. I mean, it works. Eventually, I don't think it lasts throughout the rest of the year. Honestly, when it comes down to it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I mean,
that'd be great for me.
That's just the way I see it. I see them having kind of a blow-off feud before the end of the year.
For two guys to just be thrown together, I feel like it's gone on long enough for sure.
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, we're coming up on 2 years with them tagging up together. I think it'll be 2 years in October and November this year. Is when they first started. Like it was in like 2016.
There you go.
Only reason I know because a buddy of mine was in the bar scene with them at Raw.
Okay.
He was the guy that burped in Cesaro's face. If you remember that.
I do remember that.
Yeah. He's the one that burped in Cesaro's face, and he's the one that got put through the wall. So
Fair enough.
shouts out to Zane Riley, good indie wrestler here in Charlotte.
Shouts out.
Shouts out. So moving on, we get an AJ backstage promo. Legit bruise on his face from the chair from Backlash. When
I mean, you had to see that coming.
oh yeah, well, I mean, he actually got hit in the face with that chair.
Yeah, that was probably the best spot in that entire pay-per-view, and it wasn't even planned.
No, it definitely wasn't.
Because it's the only thing that looked real, because it was.
Yeah. Do you feel like they might have embellished it a little bit though? I mean, it looked like a little redder than I thought it would be.
No, I don't think so. I think that hit him pretty freaking hard.
Oh, it definitely did. I mean,
it cut him open.
Oh yeah, like instantly.
Yeah.
So that was I mean, it was a quick little backstage promo, obviously saying that mine and Shinsuke's feud is not over, blah, blah, blah. Of course. They're going to Money in the Bank with that sucker again.
Yep.
And
then they'll be in Extreme Rules.
Yeah, it's looking like it.
Again.
And maybe Shinsuke will have the belt at that point. You never know.
Yeah, that's true.
So then we get that weird Bludgeon Brothers promo with the broken toys. How did you feel about that?
No interest really in this group.
Still.
Yeah, I love Luke Harper. I like his work, but yeah, I don't care about this little gimmick they got going on.
No.
Did you like it?
No. I honestly,
okay,
great.
Moving right along.
I can say I got a little excited at first because it looked like something Sanity would do. And I was like, oh shit, we're going to get an actual Sanity promo. And then it like panned up on them. I was like, son of a bitch. So it like made me madder about the promo more than anything.
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't Sanity. Then we get the Becky Lynch and Mandy Rose match that made Twitter fucking melt down because Becky lost again. Man. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel for Becky at this point?
I think they're trying to do with Becky what they're trying to do with Bayley. So in NXT, one of the things that got both of them over was the fact that they couldn't win the big one. But I feel like to get them to the point where they can't win the big one, they have to kind of win all the little ones, and they're not even doing that now.
They haven't. They aren't even in like the scope of big ones.
Yeah, you have to look competitive to be considered a competitor, and yeah, so I don't get it. But I like Mandy Rose, so I don't know. I get that Becky should have won, but I don't mind that Mandy did.
Now, how did you feel about Mandy's new entrance music?
I can't even remember it, to be honest.
It was like the porn star music.
That's pretty funny. I mean, I don't know what to say.
That was the one thing I actually won backstage when Paige barred Sonya Deville, the other one from Absolution, from ringside. I was like, oh, Mandy Rose is definitely coming out by herself, and she's definitely coming out to some new music, so I'm interested to see what it is. And it was definitely porn star music, and they're definitely playing her up like a porn star now, which, she's like the female Val Venus at this point.
I hope they don't go that way with her. I feel like
it seems like they're going like the sex symbol route.
Yeah, I feel like maybe we could be done with that, and that would be cool, though. Like if we were just done with that thing entirely, just any sex symbol.
Yeah.
Like they're just good wrestlers, and that's good enough. I mean, that would be cool.
You would think on a wrestling show, especially when they're really pushing the women's evolution at this point, they would not go back to like Attitude Era type getting a rise out of dudes in more ways than one. But
yeah, and it sucks because I feel like they tried to do this with Emma, and she didn't like it. So then they fucked with her and cut her.
Yeah.
And made her a loser. And I would hate for Mandy to speak up and be like, hey, I don't want to do this. And then be like, oh, yeah, no problem.
And
welcome to Jobber Town.
Bye. Peace out.
Yeah.
Honestly, like,
do you want me? Oh, you don't want to do that? Go back out and get the shovel.
Yeah, you could. Do you want to just get into a faction where you never wrestle again? Because we could go back to last year.
Right. So, I don't know. She's kind of between a rock and a hard place if that's what Vince wants and that's what creative wants, but it sucks because I think she's a good wrestler.
Yeah, she looked good in the ring. She held her own with Becky, and it was an okay match. It was a lot shorter than I thought it would be, and kind of hokey pin at the end, but not bad. I think they're really starting to build her up now, and she maybe in title contention very soon. I wouldn't be surprised if she ended up in the Money in the Bank match. So we get New Day versus The Bar set up for next week. We kind of saw that coming. But then the biggest news and the greatest news. Andrade Cien Almas debuts next week, bitches.
Is your heart ready for it?
Oh, my God, yes. Yes. Well, they're in London, so it's a huge Raw and Smackdown that's coming up for this upcoming week. So I think that's why they did it that way. So he gets his debut next week. Obviously, he's going to be against some London jobber that he's just going to wreck in 2 minutes or less. But just the fact we get to see Almas wrestle again, I am totally 100% in for.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I hope they build him up really strong.
I hope
he gets the U.S. title.
I hope he gets into the Money in the Bank match, too. And I honestly, a little piece of me wants him to win. Little piece of me.
That seems real early for that.
It does, but it will show you how quickly they want to build him. It'll show you really quickly where they see him as a wrestler. Do they want him to go what they wanted Alberto Del Rio to be? To kind of get that Latin audience back, because they're lacking in that right now. So I don't know. It's gonna be super interesting to see, but I'm super psyched to see him.
Yeah, I'm stoked too.
I want to see him in a match with Daniel Bryan. I want to see him against AJ Styles. I want to see him against Shinsuke, which probably won't happen right away because they're both going to come in as heels. So, anyways, moving on to our honestly kind of biggest surprise of the night, Rusev and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
With Rusev getting the win in this.
The clean
win for Rusev. Could the Rusev push start?
Are you telling me that Rusev beat Daniel Bryan clean?
Clean as a whistle in the middle of the ring after a Machka kick. I don't know what to say. Weird things happened this week.
So you're telling me... Yeah, man. Maybe it was Rusev Day. I don't know.
Oh, it was definitely Rusev Day.
Maybe Vince got the T-shirt sales and was like, "Why aren't we pushing this guy?"
He's like, interesting. People like him. Weird. And I mean, even the crowd was split during the entire match between Daniel Bryan and Rusev Day chants.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing I kind of don't like about this Rusev state of affairs, is because you're just splitting your audience.
But whatever. You're still booking him as a heel, and you're putting up against, the bigger baby faces still.
Right.
And
the biggest baby face.
Yeah,
really.
the biggest baby face almost in the company right now.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Rollins and AJ, I mean, he's your guy, and you just put him down. So, I mean, where do you feel like they're going with Daniel Bryan at this point?
I think that he's still going to the top. I think that's a thing. They can't do it right away. I think that's part of it. You can't immediately just put the belt on him.
Right.
Especially because you want to see if he's going to have some horrible setback.
Right, and you want it to be more believable as well. I mean, he's always played the underdog card, so I think this loss puts him back into underdog contention, especially after the win he had with Cass, and how quickly he won against Cass at Backlash. This kind of like sets him back a little bit, which I think they need to do.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I'm happy with the outcome. I was happy with the outcome of every single match on both shows this week, which I can't always say. And it's weird, but they're doing a really good job booking Money in the Bank right now. Like a really good job so far.
I'm into it, man. I just feel like there's some opportunity here.
There is.
These matches could be really good.
It's going to be really tough to predict it. I can say that. The winner of the Money Bank is going to be really tough to predict.
Something tells me I'll be predicting it correctly. So just stay tuned.
Something tells me that you're going to get your first L.
Huh. This is a no L business scenario. Something. I don't know what I was looking for there.
You're looking for the L is what you're looking for, and that's what you're going to get, friend.
I'm going to have the old CM Punk reign.
No, you're not going that long. There will be no 434 in your future.
We'll see.
All right, so A couple of notes on here. I guess first let's talk. There was a dark match, AJ versus Nakamura dark match, and AJ won. I don't know how though. I could not. I asked the Twitterverse. I could not find out how AJ won the match. So if you happen to know how AJ won, if it was clean, if it was DQ, if there was another low blow for the 900th time, just tweet at us.
You don't think you can't just assume that was the win?
I don't know.
Here, let's rewind the tape. Just say AJ won when Nakamura punched him in the dick.
Richard Puncher was at it again. It's most likely that's how it happened.
Yep.
But anyways,
that definitely. I don't even need to know the finish. I know that's what happened.
All right, so there's a couple of things I want to talk about this week post show that I kind of was thinking about. First, Samoa Joe was not on the show at all.
Yeah.
Do you think he's catching the blame for the poor reception at Backlash and how poorly received that match with he and the R Word were?
I don't. Okay, so first off, maybe because people are very stupid. But I don't see there being any way that anyone truly believes that it was anything other than Roman.
Maybe, but you got to think like Vinnie Mac at this point. His boys in the match, and R Word was on TV on Monday. He got a backstage promo and had a match. Samoa Joe had nothing. Considering he was going to be kind of the guy that was going to be next in line to challenge AJ if, AJ held the belt, or, I could see even like a triple threat with he and Nakamura. And to not see him at all in 2 hours of SmackDown, not even in a promo saying I'm going to make it to Money in the Bank or, I'm coming after AJ, or he had nothing, considering he's one of the best promo dudes in the biz right now. It's a little concerning to me.
It's weird, but maybe they're building to something next week.
I hope so. Maybe they just kept him off for a week
I'm withholding judgment
for people to forget that he lost at Backlash. Second thing I noticed that I was super happy about: no big ass this week. So apparently he pissed some people off in creative and Vinnie Mac last week because he went off script.
Is that true?
Yes, 100% true. So it was reported this week that per Pro Wrestling Sheets, got to give them a shout out for it, he went off script for the segment last week he had with the little guy. He was only supposed to give him the big boot, which was the first thing he did to the guy when he turned around. And he was not supposed to go back and punch the shit out of him. He asked about that ahead of time. He asked creative. Creative's like, no, we don't want to do that. Literally just give him the boot, cut the rest of your promo, walk away, and leave him in the ring. Then he took it to Vince, and Vince shot it down as well and said, don't add the additional punches. It's not necessary. It's a little dude. What are you really going to gain from beating this guy down more? And he went off the cuff and went against both of them and did it on his own. And this week he was not on TV at all. I was 100% expecting him to interfere in that Rusev and Daniel Bryan match.
It sounds like his schedule's about to get pretty SAWFT. Did you love that?
That was excellent. Thanks. Oh, man. Well put. I can't say it better myself.
Thanks, man.
That was good. You just cut a better promo than Big Cass has since he's been back.
Pretty sure. Yeah, they should give him it's amazing what just spelling a word can do.
Isn't it though? Whew. All right. So moving on to 205 this week.
Yayer.
So we started out with the Brian Kendrick and Jack Gallagher, or Gallagher, depending on if you're American or British, and
Gallagher if you're French,
against Lince Dorado and Grand Metalik. I don't know what the proper way to say Metalik is, because I was watching the Cruiserweight Challenge this week. I was just going back and watching it because I was like, I haven't watched this in a long while. It was really good. And they pronounced it different. Daniel Bryan pronounced it differently than they pronounce it on 205 now. I think
What's he say? Grand Metallic.
He was like Grand Metallic, and it was like more emphasis on the T. So I don't know if he's right, or I don't know if Nigel McGuinness is correct. I don't know.
We're going to have to ask Grand Metalik where to put the accents.
I will tweet at him, and he'll probably tweet it back to me in Spanish, and I won't understand it.
There you go.
But the big plus for this match is my boy Drew Gulak came out to commentate, and he was fantastic.
Yeah, he's awesome. And this match, that was probably the best part about this match.
It really was. The match was underwhelming. I really don't like.
It was fine.
I don't like Kendrick and
fine.
Gallagher as a team. I don't get it. I feel like they have nothing else to do with these dudes, so they're just throwing them together.
I'm a Gallagher fan.
Are you? Yeah, you've told us that before.
I know. I like him.
I'm on the fence. He doesn't do anything for me at all. So next we get Tony Nese versus Jobber of the Week, Mr. Keith Clayball.
Sure.
Best name for a jobber I've ever heard, I think. Keith Clayball. His real name is actually All Ego Ethan Page on the Indies, but Nese handled him very handily, and it was a quick jobber match.
Nese with the Nese.
Nese with the Nese, the running Nese. And then we get a Tommy video package, basically just setting up he and Tozawa feud, which I'm totally in for. It's going to be a good one, I think.
Yeah, they're both good workers.
Once they get it rolling.
Yep.
And then we get that Cedric and Maverick promo where Maverick sets up the face-off with the UK division next week. Oh, man, it makes me so mad and a little sad that 205 is only like a 50-minute show because there's so much more they could do with the UK division there.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they're only going to have like 2 or 3 matches makes me sad.
Yeah, I was actually thinking like maybe the UK title could be their undercard belt, but then I realized like then everyone would have to be under 205 pounds.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it gives me hope that there's definitely going to be a Pete Dunne match in there. I mean, I feel like he's kind of the face of the UK division. I mean, he holds the belt.
He's the champion.
Honestly, a Cedric against Pete Dunne match, sign me up.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be what
Pete Dunne is holding the most credible and best looking title in WWE.
That never gets defended.
Exactly. But it's on the right person and it means something.
Right. But tell me the last time that was defended.
I have no idea. No idea.
Yeah, I don't have a clue. It's been so long that it's becoming a not very credible belt.
Yeah, it needs more, but whatever.
Yeah. What can you do?
At least the right guy has it.
Exactly. All right, and then finally we close out with our main event: Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy. Really good match. Oh man, it was my favorite match of the week by far.
Yeah, great.
It was super good. I mean, Buddy Murphy looks great. Mustafa Ali always looks good in the ring, and some of the shit that those two came up with, I have never seen before. Like that DDT over the ropes that Ali had over Murphy was crazy.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, it was just a great
couple
match.
of things in the middle of the ring were unbelievable. I mean, yeah, not much else I can say about it. If you haven't seen that one, go watch 205 Live, if for nothing else, to watch that match.
Yeah, just the end.
Twas my fave. And I love Buddy Murphy more and more every week.
Yeah, dude, I was all in from the beginning, but he's never once disappointed me.
No, he hasn't. And apparently, did I see that? Yeah, they set up a match for Buddy Murphy and Cedric for next week. So I guess Cedric and Pete Dunne won't happen yet. Okay. Or it won't happen at all. So I think Murphy and Cedric are going to be the main event on 205 next week.
Well, if you're not down with that, I got 2 words for you.
Which 2 would those be?
Fuck you.
I don't see a legit finish in that match.
Yeah.
Something hoky's going to happen.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I don't know how or what's going to happen.
Is it a title match?
Yeah, it's a title match. It surprises me that they're putting it on like just a regular 205 Live, which I don't see Cedric losing the belt yet because they want to make the belt credible again.
Maybe Buddy Murphy just doesn't make weight.
Maybe if they go that route again.
It's an easy out.
But do they set up a big match like that and then go back on it?
If you don't want to spoil the feud, you do.
If you want to take it all the way to the Money in the Bank pre-show, which is inevitably where it will end up.
Or if you don't want to have another feud where it just constantly ends with someone getting punched in the dick.
I don't want another one like that. I'm a little over that.
Yeah.
A little over it.
I mean, I guess it's fine, but it's just, I don't want it again. I don't want it twice in 1 week.
I mean, it's bad enough it's happening in the indies now too. So it's now a thing.
Look, I'm all for guys cheating and using that as like a story plot, but you can't just have one cheat move. You got to do like the hair pull and then the brass knuckles and then the grabbing the tights.
The eye rake.
It's got to be a little of everything. The eye
I
rake.
love a good eye rake, man.
gouge.
I love a good eye rake.
Hey, I'll see your eye rake and raise you a back rake.
Oh, back rake is great. Totally underrated. Yeah. Never used anymore. What happened to the back rake?
We need it, man. We need the back rake.
It died like way back with, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I feel like that's because no one actually believes that scratching someone's back is actually a credible threat.
I feel like it hurts. I'm sure.
Does it?
No, I mean, it's probably not a legit like nails into the back rake, but I mean, it could be painful. They sold it well when they did it.
How about this? You go to bed tonight, you have the missus back rake you, and you tell me if it hurts. I'm going to say no.
You're probably right. But I mean, if you like break skin when you do it, it's going to hurt.
Maybe that's what we need.
Yeah.
Maybe we need some more broken skin.
You damn right we do.
I'd love to hear about the match ending because someone's back was broken hard way. Got a little back blood out there. Gonna have to send in the medics.
See, that's a new finish.
There you go.
The back rake finisher.
There's a finish we haven't had. The bloody back.
The bloody back rake. That sounds like a t-shirt in the making.
Hell
just
yeah,
says
man.
back rake finisher.
Just claw marks.
All right, on to NXT. We get Ricochet and Velveteen promo to start it out, so they're finally getting their feud up and rolling.
Yeah, see, I just want to cut to the match. But I'll say this, and I don't know if you were thinking this, but and I can't remember them doing it before with the lasers down on Ricochet, but that looked awesome.
Oh yeah, I think they've been doing it a little bit, but it was much more prevalent because they had a tighter camera shot on it this week. And it's
enough.
super badass. He has one of like the best entrances in NXT right now, other than your boy Alistair, but he's got a pretty good one.
Alistair's thing is sick, but yeah, that laser intro was awesome.
Yeah, well, Ricochet and Velveteen have been wrestling a lot in the live shows already. So
has Velveteen won any of them?
He's won all of them.
Velveteen has won all of them.
Yes.
I don't believe that.
Look it up, man. Look it up. Yeah, he's gone over on almost all of them. All of them that I've looked up, like I've been checking the live events to see the cards and who's gone over, and he has gone over.
Wow,
it's weird. It's super weird, but I think did they set that match up for next week? No, they did not. But I think it's coming.
I didn't recall them specifically saying that.
No, I think it's coming though. I think the tapings they had this week, that was one of them.
Doesn't that feel like a takeover match though? I don't know.
It 100% does. They may do one beforehand that has kind of a screwy finish or something, but
oh yeah, you're right.
You're looking at like 5 or 6 weeks without them wrestling. I can't see that happening. They've kept Ricochet off TV too much already for me.
Yeah.
And I know they only tape, once a month, but I just want more Ricochet and I want more Velveteen. So it was cool they had a promo. Wish it was a match, but you can't have it all.
Yeah, agreed.
So then we get EC3 against Raul Mendoza.
You don't like the TKO finish, right?
I do not like it.
What is it about it that you don't like?
It's just, I feel like it's so overdone. Like the cutter is so overdone at this point. And all he did was just add like a fireman's carry into it to make it look a little different, but it's ultimately not.
It's the Nikki Bella finish.
It is. And that says something. Oh God.
Yeah.
Whew, you don't want that. So I think he needs a new finisher, but I know he's probably not going to have one.
Here's why I'm okay with newer guys doing cutters. It's because the guys that currently do cutters are all like 40. So I feel like as those guys retire, you're going to need some new cutters in there. But I agree, the cutter is way overused as a finisher.
I mean, both of the Hardys will be gone soon. Orton will be gone soon. So I mean, by the time EC3 gets up to the main event, when he gets up to the
Elias does like the old Cody Rhodes Crossroads. I feel like that's like a rolling cutter.
It kind of is, but it's like a front facing one, so it's not quite.
So
the same.
that's a pass. You give that.
I give that a pass because it doesn't. It's not like from behind the back you're grabbing their head.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
So it's a little different.
Fair enough.
That one's okay in my book right now.
All right. You know who used to do a cutter?
I know a few people used to do a cutter.
That used to do one? Oh,
like Diamond Dallas Page.
No, I meant like on the indies. I think Carl Anderson did one.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I think his finish was the RKO, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's not anymore. I don't know what his finish is.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course it can't be now. I couldn't tell you what it is.
He doesn't have a finish now because he's never finishing.
Right.
At least not without being on his back. Anyways, so yeah, EC3 gets the pin there. Had a good promo afterwards. He's one of those dudes that's always going to cut a good promo. That's what I like about him. Then we get a Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, Danny Burch backstage promo. My boy Danny Burch. So they are teaming up next week to face the Undisputed Era. So that's going to be a good one.
Taking a big L there.
Yeah, they probably will. You never know. You never know.
Don't you?
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not gonna pass any judgment yet. Then we get Dakota Kai versus Vanessa Bourne. These are two people in NXT where I feel like if each of them could give the one good thing about them to the other person, it would make one complete good wrestler.
So they're like both half a wrestler.
They're both half a wrestler. Like Vanessa Bourne has a much better gimmick, better ring gear, better entrance, but she's a shitty wrestler. Dakota Kai, really good wrestler, entrance is shit, ring gear is terrible. Like she literally looks like a jobber they would throw in against like one of the Iconics or something, one of the two Conics.
Well, here's the upside on Dakota Kai. It's much easier to fix music in an outfit than it is to fix shitty wrestling.
Right. Which gives me hope for her. I feel like if she got moved up to the main card, they would change a lot about her, like they did with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss had a shit-ass gimmick in NXT as well.
Oh, her first gimmick was cringe.
It was terrible until she got paired with Buddy Murphy.
Right.
And then everything changed for her.
Blake and Murphy, that's who it was. Oh my God, that took me so long to remember. That literally took me one full week to remember.
Really?
Yeah.
So when she was paired with them, it was great. Because then she was able to go heel, and it worked much better.
I didn't even look that up, too. I just want you to know that. Like, I literally just remembered it just
I'm impressed with you.
It was amazing.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Excellent memory, SBL.
I mean, it took me a full week. Like, I couldn't get it last week when it counted.
But, you got it, though. It's the
fair enough.
It's the fact that you got it that counts. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, Dakota Kai got the pin there. Then Shayna Baszler came out and made Dakota cry again, and there's no means to an end with this. I think that this literally is just going to lead up to Nikki Cross and Shayna Baszler, which, I think that's kind of inevitable for the next takeover, which we'll get to that in a second. Yeah. But, yeah, Dakota Kai obviously is not being built up to be a strong contender for Shayna, showing by how scared she is of her.
Sure.
So moving on, we get heavy machinery. That's a mouthful. So are they against the War Raiders, and I didn't like this match at all.
Yeah, I don't really know what you have here. I mean, it seems like the War Raiders are the guys, that they got from the indies that were highly touted. And so they're just going to try to run them through everything. And I feel like that screws up a lot because you've been trying to kind of build heavy machinery in the Street Profits.
That's why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It was literally a squash match with them.
Yeah, and you could have just put any two guys in the ring. It didn't have to be heavy machinery.
Exactly.
But whatever.
Pick some other shit tag team that no one cares about. But yeah, it was weird. I don't understand what they were doing with that. I don't even like the War Raiders that much. They don't do a whole lot for me. They don't really impress me. I don't know why they were so heavily touted.
I think it needs time. Yeah, I think it needs time to grow because I think they were cool on the indies personally. But
all right.
Just
Fair enough.
Just give
I'll
it a
give them
minute.
time. I'm not going to pass judgment
Yeah.
yet. This is only their, I think, second match in NXT. So,
Yeah.
next we get a weird Street Profits video. I don't know why. Why do they keep pushing the Street Profits? They haven't won a
think
match in a while.
I just think that this is part of them trying to rebuild the tag division. They want all these guys to be contenders in a way. I think they really want to have guys that can compete with Undisputed Era.
Yeah, it could be.
So they're going to build Heavy Machinery, War Raiders, and Street Profits, and TM61 until, they're kind of all on the Ciampa, Gargano, American Alpha, AOP level.
And then we get the next War Games with all of them.
Oh, that would be kind of neat, actually,
badass.
especially because of all the hosses you'd have in the ring.
I think it'd be great. But we got a long way to wait before War Games comes around again, if they decide to do it again. I mean, I really hope they do.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite events of last year.
That was actually may have been my favorite event. Oh, you know what? The ladder match kind of beats that for the NXT.
Yeah.
The last NXT TakeOver wins. Never mind.
Well, I mean, if last year, though, if you're looking back at 2017,
Oh,
the
yeah,
ladder match
definitely
was
War
this
Games.
year. So
Yeah,
that
you're
doesn't
right.
count.
War Games, for sure.
Yeah, so last year was probably my favorite event that they had. I guess the only thing that would be weird about that is War Games is typically 3-man teams, so they'd have to add some additional dudes into that somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyways, that's a while in the future, so they got a lot to do before then. Finally, we get Ciampa versus Cassius. Oh no. No. So Ciampa gets his ass whooped for 90% of the match.
Yay.
Which was great to see.
Yep.
Lots of eye work there because Ciampa's still sporting that shiner.
Work those eyes.
He worked. Worked the eye.
That's what you generally hear before a match. Make sure you work the eyes.
Work the eyebrow. Work the eyebrow. That's the weak point. And eventually Ciampa gets the win and the pin, and is still your top heel of NXT and possibly all of wrestling right now. Is there a bigger heel than him?
It was what it was.
Is there a bigger heel than him right now?
I don't think so.
No one tops that.
Yeah. I mean, Baron Corbin has as much heat, but it's a different kind of heat. It's like a get the fuck away from me heat.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's just, I mean, the dude comes out to no entrance music. He blocked WWE on Twitter this week because they wished him a happy birthday.
That's
That
awesome.
was my favorite thing. Oh, man. The dude is 100% heel. He's kayfabing hard on Twitter. I mean, he's putting in the work. And big things in his future, man. Big things in his future. So
he never became Tommy Entertainment.
Oh, he's still, dude. Watch him on Twitter, man. Every other day he's posting about Tommy Entertainment. He hasn't brought it up in NXT yet, but I think it's coming. Next promo he cuts, it's gonna be in it. Mark my words. All right, I guess the last thing we've got. Actually, there's one. Should we cover the Money in the Bank thing? We might save it. We still got a while to go for that.
Let's save it. We've got time.
Yeah, we'll save that. The only other thing that I meant to say earlier, Lesnar will not be competing in Money in the Bank.
No big surprise.
Yeah, not surprised at all. I kind of thought he might be because it's one of the big five, but he is not. Apparently, he is training for his UFC debut, which is probably coming, soon. So he won't be at Money in the Bank. And the last thing we got today is a bit of a spoiler for the NXT Chicago TakeOver. So if you don't want to hear it, you should probably leave in a second. First, I just want to pitch all of our social medias if you decide to stop now, so if you don't want to hear the spoilers. Check us out at Botchcast on Twitter, at wrestlingbotchcast on Instagram, at facebook.com/botchcast and wrestlingbotchcast.com. You can get us on all those places. Make sure you follow us on there. We always live tweet the Raws and the Smackdowns. We try to live tweet 205 Live a little bit in NXT when we watch it. And we're always available for questions and stuff on there. And you can hit us up at wrestlingbotchcast@gmail.com. Now that we got that out of the way, if you
don't do any of that, fuck you.
Don't be a bitch.
Just kidding.
Do all of those things just to spite SBL and then tell me he's a fucking...
I'm blocking Botchcast.
Tell him he's a fucking bastard whenever you tweet.
I'm gonna
at
go
us,
full
too.
Ciampa and block Botchcast on Twitter.
Tell him he's like just a big giant slut and needs to stop being such a bitch. Yeah, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, please tell me that.
Yeah, tell him that. At the heel champ. You can just get him directly. All right, so if you don't want to hear Chicago Takeover spoilers, stop now. Stop now. All right, here it comes. Chicago Takeover match spoilers. Wait.
Now.
Now. Stop. All right, let's stop the podcast now and delete it. Delete. All right, so here's what we got so far. We got 3 matches that were set up at the TV tapings this week. The first 3 matches for Chicago Takeover. First one we have, Lars Sullivan versus Aleister Black. How do you feel about that, buddy? Silence. Oh, man, silence.
It could be great. Here's the thing. It could be great. I'm just real nervous for old Aleister.
5-star Lars, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it could be good. I don't know.
I think it'll be a good match. I don't think they would have set it up if they didn't think it was going to be good. Now, my second question for this, do you think it is going to be the main event that night? I know that you hope it is, but do you think it's going to be with what I'm about to say is the next one?
Do I think it will be?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
So you think it will be this time? I agree with you. I think they'll make it the title match, the actual main event this time.
Why do you think it'll be?
Oh, well, because this is like Ciampa Gargano 2, which is our next spoiler. Ciampa versus Gargano in a street fight. So there's going to be a lot of Extreme Rule type things happening with that one, I'd imagine. But I think because it is that type of match, and I don't think Gargano goes over on this one. And I think
that's what I was looking for. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be last because I think Ciampa is winning.
Yeah, I 100% think that as well. And I think that Black is going to go over Sullivan, so that's going to be your feel-good moment at the end with Black holding
I hope
the
so
belt.
too.
And then the third spoiler for Chicago Takeover, the night before Money in the Bank, is Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross. And people were going a little apeshit today because there are pictures that were posted of Nikki Cross holding up the belt. But sorry to tell everybody that she did not win the belt. She just beat the hell out of Shayna Baszler and then grabbed the belt and just held it in the air kind of at the end of the taping.
Right.
So,
like you do.
Exactly. She pulled kind of like a, this is mine next, pun intended. So who do you think wins that one? Do you think Baszler holds it for a little while longer? Or do you think Nikki Cross is going to take it?
No, I think Baszler wins.
So you don't think there's going to be any title changes at this pay-per-view?
No, I don't.
What else do you think? You know there's going to be a tag title match. Who do you think it's going to be?
I think the shock shift in momentum will not be a title. I think it'll be Ciampa winning.
Yeah, I mean that is like the biggest feud that they're calling. A lot of people are saying that's bigger than the belt right now, that feud.
Yep.
So, I mean,
I certainly feel like that's how they're booking it.
I know you don't agree.
I don't think that it should be, and I feel like it's kind of a slap in the face to Aleister Black and his excellent work, but whatever. I get it. It's a hot feud.
Yeah, it is. There's not much you can do about it. So, what tag team do you think is going to end up lining up against Undisputed Era? Because you know it's coming. And I think that's going to be our title change, too, for this pay-per-view.
Oh, you could very well be right. You don't want Roddy to drop it immediately, though.
Do they really see him as a new champion? I mean, I understand he is new, but Undisputed Era have had the belts for a little while.
Yeah, but it's Roddy, man.
I know it is. I know you have strong feelings, as do I. But is there another tag team out there right now that you could foresee going over against them?
No.
No?
No. Nope.
All right.
They're the strongest tag team. They're the only tag team that plays air guitar with the belts.
They're the most over tag team.
They're almost the most popular people, except for Gargano.
Right. You right.
Yeah, I don't know.
You right. Well, I guess that's all we got today. We are at the end of the notes. There's a lot of Ring of Honor stuff happening this weekend. I'm going to try to catch some of that in the Honor Club. I think there's like 3 or 4 different ones this week, and they're airing all of them live. So there's probably actually one going on right now. So
my Winnipeg Jets will be in the Western Conference Finals.
If you care about hockey, as we do. And that's about it. Let's wrap this bitch up, man. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening. We'll see ya.
Later, Marks.